I created a little piece of jewelry. It's a resin pendant,
Mm.
and I scream abuse into the pendant as it cures. And then I posted a video on TikTok, and then I sold 17,000 of these pendants.
All right, welcome back to Creator Generation. This week we are joined by Christian Hull. Christian, welcome.
Hi. This is so
Hello.
professional.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
so
used
good.
to chatting to like industry people, so I'm going to try and keep it PG.
This won't be a PG episode. I'll throw it out, fair warning.
Yeah.
You can be you.
Yeah,
you.
it won't be. Yeah.
We'll have to put the explicit sign on the podcast because we just can't get around some of the topics without swearing, right? There's no way.
Yeah, well, I have a shop, and it's called the F Off Shop. So, I mean, I don't know how to. Yeah.
We'll be beeping every second word will be beeped. No, it's
we didn't make it to 1 minute before someone said. So,
yeah.
Christian, how about instead of us rambling, how about you introduce yourself instead of me rambling about introducing yourself? Maybe you can do a better job of it than me.
Okay, so I worked in radio, and that is a really great tactic to be like, oh shit, I didn't plan anything. You introduce yourself.
No, this is well rehearsed.
God, I would say for people that have no idea who I am, you might be thinking, who is that 54-year-old woman talking? I get mistaken for a woman on the phone all the time. Just a loud gay, really, who makes YouTube videos. You may have seen some. I put a blonde wig on and play a character called Trish. That's how I sort of really got my internet fame. I was playing a bitchy Karen-esque mother, which is a surprise because my mother is named Karen. And then I did some paint videos on TikTok, and next minute I've got a huge following on TikTok. That's the best way I can summarize who I am. And also over COVID, I did some comedy tours. I was supposed to, and then that never happened. And I was like, oh shit, that's my income. So during lockdown, I created a little piece of jewelry. It's a resin pendant, and I scream abuse into the pendant as it cures. I say, fuck off, leave me alone, get away. And then it's charged with negative energies, a total gimmick, not real, but it's totally real. It works. And then I posted a video on TikTok, and then I made billions of dollars over lockdown.
Well,
so I sold 17,000 of these pendants.
Wow. Look, hey, I've got that is
We're
actually
done here.
Yeah. Tell us all about how your products came to be. Like a lot of creators try to do merch, they try to do products. Most of them don't do that well with it, but I think you've tapped into something quite unique, right?
Yeah, I think that's the win. It's so weird and unique. I've always wanted to do merch. Everyone's been like, you look at Jake Paul. I'm like, he sells such shit, but that's where he makes all his money from. So I was like, I want to do that. So I tried the tea towels, the t-shirts, just all the real generic stuff. And it was more a hindrance. It was more work than it was reward. And so I stopped. And I was like, well, I don't actually want to do any merch. And then, COVID happened, and coming from such a creative family, I make a lot of things, and I loved making stuff and selling it. And basically just purely by chance had fallen into making these resin pendants with these little flowers in them to give away as prizes for Facebook supporters, and they all desperately wanted one. Like, can we buy them? Like, we don't want to win it. We want to buy it. I was like, what? This is such shit. So I was like, all right. So I made them and sold them, and then one of them, Jess, said, you should just make more and sell them to everyone. Like, you could probably sell a lot. And I was like, nah. So I didn't. I held off, and then I was like, oh, let's just see. So I made them a little bit better. I bought some better little ribbon flowers to put in, and I started making them. And the idea was so ridiculous because I'm into crystals. They're all bullshit. Charging them with the moon. What is that crap? But I've bought all these crystals, and I'm like, oh, healing energy. And I was like, is there a crystal that just keeps people away from you? Just radiates fuck off energy. And there wasn't. So that's why the pendant came about. That was the crystal that I would scream abuse into, and then people would leave you alone. So I made a video about it. I had a couple of molds, maybe could make 20 at a time, posted it on TikTok, went to bed, and the next morning I'd sold maybe 50 or 60. And I was like, wow, I got so many. I was like, great, maybe I'm onto something. And so I left the shop open. I didn't set any limits on pendants. and they take 24 hours to make, and I could make 50 at a time. And so the number was like, the next day was 100, then 200, then 500, then 1,000. And I was like, oh, I can't make 1,000. Like, that's going to take me 4 months. And so suddenly I was like, all right, I was buying molds and more resin, and it was just this sort of expanding growth really quickly. And I was all on my own. So I was having to post and print labels and work out this sort of system and having to stick stamps on every envelope. And it was great because the motivation was I would check PayPal and be like, holy shit, all right, keep going. And it got to a point where I think I'd sold about 6,000 or 7,000. Like, I'd done so many, and I was like crying because I had no sleep. I had to wake up at maybe 2 a.m. every morning to re-pour these molds so I could make as many pendants as possible. And I was like, this has been great. I just need a break. So I'd gotten on top of orders. I'd stopped posting about everything. And what I didn't realize was, and this is wonderful, there's a famous drag queen called Ongina, who was on the first episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. And she'd ordered one, and I didn't know. And I woke up, again, it's always when you're asleep. I woke up, I had a text message to be like, holy shit, check out Instagram. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is cool. Like, she'd done like just a post and all these stories, and it really was like spruiking it. And, you're talking about someone with like 750,000 Instagram followers. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And it didn't click that might generate sales. And being just so exhausted and being like, right, I'm turning the shop off. I had like 1,500 orders sitting in there, and I just thought, this is amazing, but fuck, like, what am I going to do? And so I shut everything down. I filled the orders, and I was like, I'm going to have to hire. I need help. So I had all friends helping me. I was like, Phoebe, come and work for me. And then, oh, surprise, you're now working in the shop. Poor Phoebe. And so, I've hired casual staff. I've brought people in, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got a business. Like, I'm running a business. And so I started to go, well, let's make key rings. Let's do stickers. Let's just sell fuck off. And it's turned into this huge thing, I guess.
And
It's such a beautiful thing.
You
selling
actually,
fuck
Oh
off.
my God.
you actually scream. You literally scream "fuck off" into the.
Yeah. So when the molds are poured, you're looking like there's like 400 pendants setting, and I just literally bend over and go, fuck off, leave me alone, piss off, you dickhead, into them, charge them, and then they're ready to go.
When I actually we didn't meet in the industry. I was actually in a coffee shop, and I actually saw Phoebe at a table making these pendants. And I asked the owner, I asked the owner of the coffee shop, I said, what's that lady doing? I could see all these little pendants saying fuck off. And I'm like, what's that lady doing? And she explained it to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I went over and chatted to her, and she said, yeah. And like Christian screams into them. And if you listen, you can hear him on his off the balcony screaming fuck off. It's like, oh, that's,
because it was across the road.
yeah. It's like, well, no, that's that noise. Okay, I get it now. So it is authentic. You literally scream fuck off into these things.
I scream into them. It's so therapeutic. I can't tell you. Just screaming, though, like, for people to go away, it's so good.
What do your other neighbours think of this, though?
Well, my balcony's pretty enclosed, but I don't know. I never really thought about that. The ones
Police
across the
turning
road.
up.
Oh, sorry, it's just me again. It's just there's nothing going on here.
Nice.
I love it. And some of the stuff you've done to like promote the fuck off store or the fuck off shop, sorry, I should get it right. It's pretty interesting. Like, you've even done billboards and print ads. What's the go with that? You're an online creator with an online audience. What's going on with billboards and press ads?
So that comes back to my radio experience. So after doing the fuck off pendants, I was like, I've always wanted to have like a fragrance. I was like, I want to have a fragrance. And to make one, really difficult, really expensive. And so I was like, you can just mix some essential oil. Oh yeah, you've got one. Yeah. So you just mix a couple of drops of essential oil, fill it with some, like a base oil, and then you've got a roll-on fragrance. And so I was like, I could do that. So we ordered all the products, and then I was really open about that story. I was like, I want to start a fragrance. What am I going to call it? What am I going to do? I posted that everywhere. And so everyone had all this feedback. Amanda came up with Fakovsky, which I was like, that's genius. I'm taking that. And so it was sort of, I brought everyone in on this journey of building this fragrance up. And then I found out, Rolling Stone were going to let me publish an ad in their magazine for it, which was hilarious. And then from that, people were like, oh my God, this is so funny. It was still pretty like Melbourne was in lockdown at that point, and so you had a lot of advertisers and a lot of people who had billboards weren't advertising, and so I had companies go, well, we've got some free billboards, do you want to use them? I was like, yes please. And then we had Hyped Media came on with the billboard trucks, so every state had these trucks that had LED screens on them, and they drove around with Fakovsky all over them, and it was all free, which was amazing. And that's how that happened. And then we launched, and it was really successful, which I was surprised at.
It's
awesome.
It's pretty good. It's like, what is it? It's got pine, vetiver, I don't know what that is, sandalwood, frankincense, and fuck off energy. Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Smells like I don't give a fuck with a hint of deforestation.
Yeah, because they're all like pine, vetiver, and sandalwood is all wood. So you have to cut down a lot of trees to make that.
I see. Yeah. I've got quite a few products. I think I've collected them, like the keyring and the old Fakovsky here. It's I keep them on my desk every day looking at them.
Do they work?
Well, you're still here, Ant, so clearly not.
Well, we're not in the same office.
I'm over 1,000 kilometers away, or a couple of thousand kilometers away. So
maybe it is.
Maybe it works.
There is literally nobody around me, so it probably does work. So what's next in terms of products?
So we've just launched, this is Phoebe's idea, which I think is the best idea out of anything we've done. These 2 little beans. So you plant them in the ground. They've got, how do I explain this? They're like the size of maybe your thumbnail, and they get laser printed. And so there's the words fuck off on these beans. So you plant them in the ground, and then they, 5 days later they grow, and the lasered fuck off actually grows up out of the plant, and it's like a little seed pod that's attached to the stem. So out pops this plant, and there's fuck off written on it. And so we just, isn't amazing. It so cool? So Phoebe's paid for herself for the next 3 years, and so we've launched that. We launched that yesterday. So that's doing pretty well, actually, which is great.
Nice.
That is
and then we've got,
genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
We've got and then we've got soaps is the next one. So we're putting pendants into soaps so you can wash the fucks away because it cleans your body. And then the lady who's making the fuck off soap has a penis mold, and it's a soap mold. So we're putting pendants into the tips of these penis mold soaps, and it's so inappropriate because the way you wash your hands is you slide it and then you soap your hands up, and then you wash your hands, and so again washing, cleansing, washing the fucks away. And then I think we've got in the works, like it's so fun. The other thing that I haven't really told anyone is I'm a big fan of herbal tea. And so I'm looking at bringing out Christian's Unique Natural Tea. Okay, what does that spell? Yep, you get that. So it's my CUN tea. So that's and so it'll be under the fuck off brand, and so you'll just have tea that has fuck off. Yep.
Wow.
Building an empire, all of which will be run by Phoebe from the coffee shop. She'll be like, putting these things into the penis.
Phoebe's building the empire, let's be real.
Oh dear.
What do you like? I'm really like, the thing is, it's clearly, obviously, you will dry reach a bit on this, but this is genuinely authentic to you and the team and the brand. But like, how do you, was there any reticence at all at any stage creating like a potentially, well, not potentially, it will be offensive to certain people, like incredibly offensive? Was that any worry at all, or were you just like, nah, this is just for us and our people?
I was a little worried. So every time I push the boundary a little bit, like the tea is going to be an interesting one. I think I've introduced it slowly. So the pendant was just a pendant that I yell into, and then the keyring version of that actually has the words "fuck off" written on the keyring. And so it's just been this slow progression. But also, I have a really good friend of mine who has a website called The Inappropriate Gift Co., and her products are like, the CUNT is written just full on, like her products are full on, and I've helped her and I've promoted them, and every time I get one of her products and promote it, it blows up and people love it. And so I was able to, I've been doing that for maybe 4 years for her. And so the audience is aware. You get the people that are like, oh, it's a bit too much for me. They'll watch it, maybe they won't share it or buy it, but it's like, here's a great example. My mum, oh my God, she hates swearing. She hates it. She hates it. And so with this fuck off pendant, my mum's done like a 360 and she comes to me with all these ideas and she'll swear. She'll be like, okay, well, the next thing you need to do is these. She went to Bunnings. She bought these gnomes and they were giving the finger. And so she painted them up and she wrote a thing that said fuck off on it. And she's like, let's do gnomes. You can put them in the garden. And she's wanted bags. She's made bunting. And she's just like, okay, now with the fuck off, I'm going to put it here and do that. And she's dropped the C-bomb a few times. And I'm just like, this is a woman who, if I said the word stupid, it was the wooden spoon would come out. So I think it's becoming a bit more desensitized. And it's also the way you use it and the intent of the word.
So I think to go full circle to Kyle Sandilands and the Shock Jock ilk is, I find that's where they don't know where the line is sometimes, so they cross it in being controversial and funny. They cross that line, and it's just interesting to see if you're constantly, like, how you're constantly pushing that line, and have you ever stepped over it?
I feel like online you're held up to a lot more accountability than you are on television or radio, and you can also watch, like, you look at Shane Dawson or you look at creators, and most of them are a lot younger and they don't have the life experience that I have. And, I've seen shit in radio and I know how to talk to an audience. I know how to be empathetic. It's the intent of what you do versus that. You can say something and have the best of intentions, but, someone that's gone through an experience like that won't take it that way. So it's best just to not say it or not make jokes about that. But it's comedy. It's common. Like, we could debate this question forever because comedians will push the boundaries, but I don't feel like I'm a comedian that pushes the boundaries. I just say fuck a lot and talk about dicks and eggplants. Like, that's my limit.
Dicks in eggplants.
No. Oh, dicks and eggplants. Eggplants don't go in dicks; they go somewhere else. So these are lessons I'll teach you once this podcast is finished.
You have to subscribe to his Snapchat to understand this story.
You know what, though? My next move is OnlyFans. I really want to do an OnlyFans.
Awesome.
You make so much money. Look how disinterested the two of you are about me doing an OnlyFans.
I think that's a great idea. I think I'm not your audience, but maybe I am. I don't know. But I think just go for it. Go nuts.
Yeah, I think that's when
I have no idea what you're going to do on there, but have fun.
I don't either, because I don't really have the body type. I'm short and fat for OnlyFans.
No, I think I think you'll probably find a very fulfilling niche. I think
you find a niche. I was thinking maybe if I sit on cakes, because there's a food thing. I don't know. Anyway, that can be the next episode of this podcast.
The extension of the paint. Once the paint color has been revealed on TikTok, you can then go to OnlyFans.
Have my naked body in it.
Exactly.
You just made me a fortune.
Integrated.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Just a quick note, this is a cut-down version of this interview. If you want to check out the whole podcast, head on over to your favourite podcast platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can check it out there.
Create a generation. Look on the mic.